What's the hardest job in the world? No, it has nothing to do with NASA or neuroscience. According to Aleeza Ben Shalom, it's matchmaking? Really? Why? It's wild. Suddenly everyone is talking about Jewish matchmaking. On one level, it totally makes sense. Reality dating shows have captivated millions of viewers ever since reality TV became a thing. Like, remember Survivor? And it actually goes back longer than you might think. Although last season of The Bachelor starred a Ukrainian Jewish contestant, shout out Ariel Frankel, there hasn't been a whole lot of Jewish representation on shows like this.
Tongue sandwich?
Tongue sandwich.
Mm-hmm. Cow tongue, yeah.
Huh.
That is, until now. With the popularity of Jewish and Indian matchmaking on Netflix, many are left wondering, is the timeless tradition of matchmaking the future of dating? First things first, what even is Jewish matchmaking? It's a loaded term with lots of preconceptions.
It's about Laser Wolf the Butcher. A good man, a fine man, and I don't have to tell you he's well off, no?
But it's way more complicated than that. In Judaism, marriage is a holy union, and matchmaking is an honorable practice. According to Rabbi Maurice Lamb, the word shidduch implies a sense of tranquil arrival for two people tired of the dreams, the frustrated expectations, and the long search for a loving spouse. The matchmaker is the one who arranges these peace-giving unions. I've got a trivia question. Who was the first matchmaker in the Bible? Trick question. Gotcha. It was God when he set up Adam with Eve. See what I did there? Okay, but after that, it was Eliezer, Abraham's servant in the Bible. Well, technically, it does not mention Eliezer's name, only Abraham's servant, but for our purposes, we'll call him Eliezer. Abraham sends him to find a wife for his son Isaac. Eliezer asks God to give him a sign when he has found the right woman and immediately meets Rebekah at a well. She proves her kind and generous qualities, and as they say, the rest is history. Although the matchmaker facilitates the process, they are seen as carrying out a divine will of sorts. Ever hear the expression, marriages are made in heaven? It comes from the Talmud, which says God determines who every person's future mate will be. More on this later when I'll explain the whole misunderstood concept of Beshert. According to the 2nd century sage Rabbi Yossi, since the creation of the world, God has been making matches. That's what he's been doing. As the story goes, a Roman matron once asked Rabbi Yossi, how has God been spending his time ever since he created the world? He replied, God sits on the heavenly throne and makes matches. The sages of the Talmud go so far as to say that matching a couple together well is as hard of a miracle as splitting the Red Sea. So I guess Aleeza was not really exaggerating.
Finding your person is the hardest thing to do in the entire world, and that's where I come in.
Some have noted that previous shows like Shtisel and Unorthodox have portrayed Jewish matchmaking in an oppressive, negative light. I'm not here to weigh in on that, and for the record, I never watched Unorthodox, so not sure about that one, but either way, Aleeza's approach is different.
My approach is very simple. It is a very non-judgmental, open, accept everybody for who they are approach. It doesn't matter who you are, It just matters that I understand who you are.
While some admire this approach, others argue that she takes it too far and can be slightly more critical of her clients when necessary. There's more of a chance of her eating a bacon sandwich than bad-mouthing one of her clients, Haaretz columnist Adrian Hennigan quipped. That's actually hilarious and so true. Having watched the whole season, yes, I watched every episode, and not just for work, because I loved it. It was really fun. It was really good. But Ben Shalom said, she believes this approach would resonate with a broad audience. I'm hoping that people will see that matchmaking and Judaism is not just something that's old, but that's timeless, that's relevant. We can use this beautiful ancient tradition of matchmaking and bring it to modern life. It's universal. In a world of dating apps, she explained, matchmaking makes the process more personalized and manageable.
I like that people actually narrow in on what they want, and then they look for specific details that would help them find that person, which means you're going to say no to about 90% of the people, and about 10% we're actually going to filter and look at so that you don't get dating fatigue.
Alessandra Conte, owner of matchmaking company Matchmakers in the City, added, in a meeting between a client and a matchmaker, critical questions are brought up that many are curious to ask on a first date, but avoid asking. A matchmaker filters these questions in advance and saves a lot of headaches. Beyond the matchmaking tradition, Aleeza said Judaism also offers practical dating advice for everyone.
Some things I came out with from this definitely were tips that Aleeza gave me. One of the biggest tips that I think resonated with me the most was it does not need to be love at first sight, right? You need to get to know that person, and maybe that's where it comes from. Date them until you hate them. You know, you have to give people more than just 1 or 2 dates to see if you actually want to be with this person.
It's clear that matchmaking has some modern day advantages. Will it make a comeback in an age of social media and dating apps? It remains to be seen. But if the response to Jewish matchmaking is any indication, I think most would agree the potential exists. Why? Because Aleeza Ben Shalom is right. Judaism has real wisdom to offer the world. Here's some thoughts. Number 1. Beshert, that term, implies hopeful anticipation about the future, not resignation about the future. I know I'm waxing poetic here, but stay with me on this one. While admittedly watching way too much of Jewish matchmaking, I was thinking about the difference between the concepts of Beshert, like I just said, and Kismet. So Kismet comes from various Eastern cultures and refers to the idea that events in one's life are predetermined by fate or divinely ordained. Kismet is often associated with a sense of resignation to one's destiny, and your actions are in many ways immaterial. Beshert, on the other hand, is different. It's this Jewish idea about one's soulmate or destined partner in life. It seems similar to Kismet, right? The whole thing about predetermined and destiny, but it's actually different. Because while it implies that there is a divine plan or purpose for each person's life, which is a totally lovely idea, and that one's soulmate is predestined to cross their path at some point, love that idea too, it is not associated with resignation, but rather with hope and anticipation. And it says that each person has a unique role to make things happen. It is not passive, but in many ways, it's actually quite active, and people have to make their Beshert happen. It is not at all about letting life just unfold, at all. Number 2. Making ideal matches really is as miraculous as Aleeza says. Think about it. You're taking 2 different people from different families, different backgrounds, different upbringings, and then saying to them, hey, live together for the rest of your life and make an amazing union and family out of it. Not trying to sound like a sappy romantic. I'm anything but that. But if you've ever been to an inspirational wedding, or if you've ever watched a couple who has been married for 50 years look at each other in the eyes, you know that this is so special. So if you ever get the chance to set people up, go for it. Make it happen. Connect people. It's amazing. I've done it twice, and it's an amazing, awesome feeling. But I see it slightly differently than this idea from Aleeza. I think the point is that it's the job of the couple to make their marriage as miraculous as the splitting of the Red Sea. It's about the effort it takes to have an incredible relationship with all that entails. And this relates to number 3. Love is not just a feeling, but it's an investment. There's a myth about how Orthodox Jewish couples meet that you might have heard that they meet 3 times, get engaged, married, and only fall in love later on in life.
Do I what?
Although that's true for a small minority in the community, in reality, there are actually lots of ways Orthodox couples meet. But there's something to the idea that love can grow significantly with time if we're in the right relationships and utilize the right tools. Like any relationship, the key is investing in it through effort and commitment. And that investment can often lead to even more love. But it's really, really hard. The way I see it, matchmaking is just the start. And the investment in the relationship is what it's all about. That's when miracles happen. I want to dedicate this episode to my dear friend Jonny, Yonatan Mordechai ben Fruma. He should have a speedy recovery. We love you.